Her story in Vogue magazine, tennis great Serena Williams with baby Alexis Olympia shares her harrowing ordeal. Serena had trouble breathing. She knew it was a sign of blood clots she had suffered before, so she guided her doctors on how to save her life.
Just this idea that somebody like her could experience such a severe complication is, I think, really upsetting to many people and will bring more attention to this issue.
Every year, 50,000 women suffer complications during pregnancy. 700 die. Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely than white women, in part because of higher risk factors, diabetes, obesity, and high blood pressure.
I don't understand.
31-year-old Tunisia died giving birth to her second child when her heart stopped after a C-section.
I'm broken inside.
For me, it's unacceptable.
Doctors say Serena's story is a cautionary tale.
Get to go to Malawi, which is where Area 25 is. Women who are really far in villages, we're seeing that actually was lowering their maternal mortality rate at that hospital, and it did. It was lower than the national average, which was really cool. So I got to look at that and then look at the different maternal waiting homes all over the world, which was super cool for a systematic review. So yeah, great opportunity.
This is the Scene and Steam with Jade Frederick.
MJ, hello! Welcome to the Scene and Steam.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
Of course. Thank you for making time for this. MJ, it's so funny because you joke so much about, oh yeah, you know, once I get a residency, I'm going to be a personality hire. And we laugh because you have an amazing personality, but like it's also so far from the truth because yes, you're amazing to talk to, but you're so brilliant and you have so much like knowledge to share. And you know, I know your patients love you. I've never rounded with you, but
I'll take it.
I know they do. And you actually, we didn't start in the same class. Mm-hmm. You're a year above me. You took a master's year. Yeah. Now you're an MPH.
Yeah, something side quest.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that process and deciding to do it. And what kind of your plan was during that year?
Yeah, so I definitely did not come into med school thinking about that. I already had taken a gap year prior to med school, and so, you know, like, let's get out of here and make a paycheck. I need money. But something that was just happening, I remember like first year of med school, I told a group of friends, I was like, I'm just trying to figure out like what God wants me to do with my life, and I know that med school is a tool, it's not the main thing.
Yeah.
And they kind of looked at me sideways, but it was just basically the idea that like there's a vision I have for my life. It's not always like planned out, but I know that med school is only a part of that vision and how I describe myself. And so going into first and second year, yes, we're learning the biochemistry and going through all the blocks and the neuro and everything. But it wasn't the stuff that I thought I would have learned in med school. The medicine people, the doctors around me were all either leaders in their church, they were leaders in their community, they were doing nonprofits, they were owning businesses. They just had a lot to say outside of the hospital. Yeah. And so that requires a lot of leadership skills. That's a lot of communication, understanding a lot of the health system that I don't know. I mean, we're leaving med school. Don't ask me about insurance. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, there's so many minutia to medicine, not just medicine, but healthcare, that I thought I'd learn, and I didn't. And so, going into my MPH, there was an option to do a master's in other things like bioethics and population medicine. Mm-hmm. But I think Loma Linda already has that strength in our curriculum for medicine, for social determinants of health. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I want to do something that is important to me and my vision for my life. And so I looked at global health. And even though it was in person and I wanted a little bit of break and things like that, that's what I ended up choosing. Mm-hmm. And it taught me everything I wanted to know, not because I'm already in missions and I've been a big part of that, but also other things like, we always think of the hospital, who's running the employees and knowing who's understaffed, overstaffed. You think of EMR, who's running clinical informatics, who understands what documentation needs to be done, how can we facilitate it, make it really fast. When we talk about products, like in the OR, becoming an OB, there's brands for every single product. How do we choose a brand? How do we let the reps come in ethically and sell their things? There's so many things to the healthcare force, and so I got to learn that, and it was so exciting. Grant writing, proposals, administration, and had a lot of life experiences with international organizations. And so it was a dream. It was amazing.
Yeah. When you were first telling me about it, I was so fascinated because it almost like redid your schedule for you because you're kind of the first one to do that particular path.
Yes.
Right?
I was a little bit of a brat. I was like, I'm not doing the other ones. This is available. I want that one. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, you have to fight for that. What would be your advice to students kind of debating taking a gap year and like, you know, should I alter my schedule, put things off?
I think my biggest advice is remember when you came in, you were an individual, so don't come out as like a copycat or just a copy and paste of what they want medicine to be. And not to say that Loma Linda or any other med school is trying to make one type of homogenous doctor, but the reason why they chose us is because we all had individual dreams. So create that while you're in med school. Whether that means taking a year off, whether that means asking for time to fill your CV with things that service and maybe not research, or the research they're offering is not what you're interested in, so you make your own proposal. Remember you're an individual and create that path accordingly. And I think that's what helped me, even though I'm not a confrontational person at all. Self-advocacy and agency was not my strength. But I was willing to take the risk and be like, if you are supportive of me trying to trailblaze, we have so many people that have done it before us with different entities. I was like, I can do this for myself. Yeah. And so that's what my advice would be for them for sure.
Yeah. Remembering you're an individual, that's really important because I feel like, you know, it's kind of beat into us. There's a certain way to be a doctor sometimes, and we have to have a certain level of professionalism, and we can't do certain things. And I definitely resonate with that because I definitely came to medical school telling myself, like, I'm not going to lose my passions for this passion. You know, I'm going to keep them all or do my best too.
It's so true.
Yeah. But how did your experiences in your master's year kind of change how you approach medicine and now as a fourth year, if at all?
Yeah, I think it did and it didn't. I think the ways that it did was that I zoomed out. Everything I saw in the hospital was not just the patient in front of me. I love my patients. I love deeply. And so the person in front of me, I'm going to bat for. But I realized going to bat for them means that there's so many other things going on. Not just on their side, which is what we learn a lot at Loma Linda about the social determinants, homelessness, their finances, but also on the hospital side. Do we have the staff? Can we book this surgery? Like those things. And so realizing that I'm not, even though it feels like I'm a cog in the wheel and I'm just another employee, I am an agent for change in so many other aspects. And so it kind of gave me that more of that agency. It didn't help me with choosing my specialty. It took forever to do that just because I realized you can kind of do all these things in whatever specialty you choose. And so that was a little bit hard, you know, landing on what I want to do, but I'm here now choosing OB, very, very excited for what that has in plan. And like, I think overall, it just helped me zoom out, made me have a 10-year program or a 10-year timeline instead of like just getting out of residency.
Right.
I mean, like I know for you, like I just love seeing all the things that you've done outside of medicine, but they're still within the realm of lifting as you climb, inspiring the next generation, science, like all those things and using it. I think that was it for me. I was like, I'm not just going to think of being an OB. I'm going to think of what it means to be a doctor in my community. And that is what the agency gave me for that year. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think you're just going to be such a well-rounded doctor. As you mentioned, like, you know, the people running the hospital are not necessarily people who understand what's going on with the patients. And I think it's so important to have that knowledge. And I'm just so excited for you and all that you're going to accomplish, MJ.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, it was an honor. It was an honor.
My Charlie.
It's crazy.
This will be out after match day.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yes, thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Scene in STEAM. I'm Jade. If you'd like to help out students studying science, technology, engineering, art, and math, please check out the links below. And I hope you can join us for the next episode.